Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to explain about debugging in Intellij. So the topics that I'm going to explain are what is debugging, how to set the breakpoints in the program, and how to start the application in debug mode and look into the program state and step through the program. So these steps can be easily understood when I actually show the practical session. And before that, I will start what is debugging. So very simple. For example, as a developer, you have written some piece of code, and so after you have written that code, you'll start testing the code to look at how whether it is working as expected or not. And for example, you have written a method that should return 5, but it is returning 10, which is incorrect. Now, by just looking at the code, you cannot figure out where exactly it is going wrong. So in that case, debugging helps here. Every Java developer or every developer which actually writes in any other programming language does the debugging as day-to-day activity during the testing. I'll show you with a small simple program, and I will explain the all the remaining topics like how to set the breakpoints, how to start the application in debug mode, and how to see the variable values at any point of time, and how to step through the program. I'll open my Intellij. So this is my Intellij, and I have this piece of code which I have written a very long back, and now just for the tutorial I will show how to debug this piece of code. Now, so I'll set some breakpoints. So that is the first point. So you have to set the breakpoints in the program. So first I'll set a breakpoint at line number 5. You just have to do the left click. And I'll also set a breakpoint at line number 20. Just a left click. And I will also set a breakpoint at line number 30. And one more breakpoint at line number 44. Just a left click. So now you have set the breakpoints in the program. You can take any program. And now, so to debug this program, you have to click this option. So there are two options you can see. One is running the program, the other is to debug. So when you hover on it, you can see IntelliJ says debug mock and monster. So this is the class which I'm going to debug. So if you're in different class, and then so see here, so you have this icon here at line number 3. You click on it, and you can also select debug option here. Now I'll do the same for the mock and monster. Instead of going here on the line number 3, which is the entry point, that is the main program, and click on this arrow, click on it, and you see run mock monster main, and the second option is debug. You just click on the second option, debug. So as soon as you did the debug of the application, you get a debug window, and here you can see there is a debugger tab here, which means you are in the debug mode. And you can also see a blue line here, which is actually the application is paused at the line number 5. Why it is paused is due to the breakpoint that we have set. Now it is paused here, and so there are different options. See here, you can see you can step over, step into, force step into, and step out. See, I will just do the step over, which is the F8. So if you don't remember the this keyboard shortcuts, you can actually use these icons to debug. Each has a different purpose, and mainly we use step over function only, this F8, and occasionally we use the step 8, step into, which is stepping into another method. So I'll just show you. If you just hit F8, it goes to the next line. That is what meaning step over to the next line. See, now you are at line number 6, and if you just hover on str1 is the variable that you have created in line number 5, and you want to see what is the value of str1. Now you can see str1 has a 5 ways, and you can also see in the debugger window the str1 has 5 A's, and you can click again, hit again F8, it will go to next line. And also you can see in the debugger window there is another variable that is created during this program flow, that is str1 prefix, which is AA, and you hit F8 again, you see one more. In the program flow you have created one more variable str1 cast, which says 16310, the values that are inside the str1 cast. So this way you can actually debug through the program, and you can understand the flow. And see, I don't know what is the str1 dot length. See, if you just look at here, you will not understand what is the str1 value. But if you use the debugger and you see str1 is 5 ways, and you can see str1 dot length is 5. And also you can use this one, evaluate expression. So you can just take this piece of code, click on this evaluate expression, and you can paste here. And if you click evaluate expression, it will give you what is the value. It's 5. And you can also add an expression here, new watch, and str1 dot length. So it gives you 5. So you don't have to manually calculate the values here. You can use either evaluate expression or you can add the watch. So this way you can see the state of the program, which is nothing but the variable values. And see, and this way you can use F8 keyboard shortcut to navigate through the program. And okay, now I will also explain when to use F7. So I'm removing the breakpoint at line number 44 and do the F9. F9 is for here. If you see the run to the cursor, or you can just say F9. If you do F9, it goes to the next breakpoint actually. Now I'm at line number 30. So earlier it stopped here and I did multiple F8s. So it went into the next line, and I don't want to debug the remaining lines. I just want to exit from here and go to the next breakpoint. So that way F9 is useful. And now I am at line number 30. I can hit F8 to go to the next line, or I can hit F9 to go to the next breakpoint. So if you see here from line number 33 to line number 40, there is no new breakpoint, and And if you see, if you hit F8 again, you see there is a method get amount to pay. So if you want to go inside this method first line, the easiest option is step into function. So if you just hit F7, it goes to the first line of the method that we are calling at line number 34. And from there you can hit F8 to go to the next lines. And then if you want to go to the next breakpoint, or if you want to if there are no other breakpoints, if you just want to come out of uh, the execution flow or resume the program, you can say F9. So that's it. So now you came out of the came from debugging mode and the program is ended. So, and one more thing is here you can see in the debug window, whenever you click on view breakpoints here, you see, okay, in this Java program mock and monster, there are 3 breakpoints. So that is one thing. And you want to mute breakpoints, which means when you start usually developers start the application in debug mode and they mute all breakpoints and they start testing, and then when they see there is something wrong, they they unmute the breakpoints. So the difference is when you mute the breakpoints, so now I have muted breakpoints, and if you start the application in debug mode, I go to main here and start the application in debug mode. So what happens? So it started in debug mode, but all breakpoints are muted. So the application, the execution won't stop at any breakpoint since all are muted. It's just like running the program only. It's like running the application. So it doesn't bother whether you are running in the debug mode or actual running. But when you actually unmute the breakpoints and you start the application in debug mode, now you see the execution is stopped at line number 5. So that is the difference between mute and unmute breakpoints. And now see, you can hit F9. Now I am at line number 5. Now I want to go to line number 20, which is the next breakpoint. Now you click on F9. See, I came at line number 20. And if you hit F9 again, you go to line number 30. And if you hit F9 again, since there is no program, no breakpoint, the execution flow is ended. So mainly you have to remember 3 functions in debugging. One is step over and another is step into, and the another one is resume the program or go to the next breakpoint. To summarize the debugging, so F8 keyboard shortcut is used to go to the next line, and F7 is used to jump into the method, and F9 used to go to the next breakpoint, or if there are no breakpoints, you can just finish the execution. Okay, that is for the tutorial. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.